Welcome back, everybody, to the Wrestle Whispers YouTube channel. We are rapidly approaching John Cena's final match, which is going to take place December 13th at Saturday night's main event. But the question is, who's his final opponent going to be? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dive all into it today. Who I ultimately think will be his final opponent, and who I believe out of the two frontrunners right now should get the nod to be John Cena's final opponent. The tournament is coming to a close very soon, but in my opinion, the very next matchup that we have between these two opponents, the winner will actually be John Cena's final opponent. Forget about the rest of the bracket. It doesn't matter. This match alone will determine who John Cena will be retired against. That's right, I'm talking about Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes. This man, Gunther, has been rumored to be John Cena's final opponent for months now. Everybody since John Cena's announcement of his retirement pretty much speculated that Gunther either should be the guy to retire him or it would be his final opponent. Now, I have some thoughts all about this because this tournament got pretty interesting with the victory that Carmelo Hayes just got over Bronson Reed. Obviously, Cody Rhodes did interrupt that match to get Carmelo Hayes that victory with the count out. Bronson Reed did get counted out. Carmelo Hayes advances. And I think this matchup is more important than maybe people think because I've been pushing for Carmelo Hayes for a very long time now. When the original call-up happens, I originally thought Trick Williams would have gotten the nod over Carmelo Hayes coming up from NXT. They went with Carmelo Hayes, and I am all for it. However, they really have not done much with Carmelo Hayes since his main roster debut. They did team him up with The Miz. Obviously, that rivalry there really kind of gotten away with that right now for the time being with the tournament. But I think, honestly, if Carmelo Hayes were to beat Gunther in this tournament, it would elevate him to a status of being that next breakout superstar. Now, on the other side, you could say Gunther is trying to be built up to be this ultimate dominant heel. But here's the caveat with Gunther. He's already been a multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. He's already been the World Heavyweight Champion. Does he actually need to retire John Cena in order to elevate him even more? In my personal opinion, I think Gunther is already cemented as a guy, right? Like, he could be the top guy without having to retire John Cena. I don't think by him retiring Goldberg, right? Like, this is the whole story. He's going to retire Goldberg, he'll retire John Cena, and potentially in 2026 retire Brock Lesnar in Minnesota. But does he actually need that? I don't think the character of Gunther actually needs to have this legend killer retirement, like, I've retired all these legends. I don't think Gunther actually needs it. He's already over as far as cementing himself to be a believable top guy. What honestly does retiring John Cena do? You could say, oh, well, it's going to give him more heat. Gunther already has heat, right? And historically with Gunther, even when he does have a lot of heat, they don't really do his character justice. For instance, the whole lead up to the Jey Uso, match at WrestleMania where he lost his title was this whole, Gunther lost his confidence type of angle. But if Gunther is supposed to be this larger-than-life, dominant heel to the point where you have to make it like, oh my God, this overcoming underdog story for Jey Uso to beat him, why would you then drop him down a level to say that, he's lost his confidence? And then the way that the WrestleMania match played out, the fact that he tapped out to Jey Uso, I think they've done Gunther a disservice. I will admit that. I think his best heel work was during that Jey Uso feud. However, it was when he had dominated Jimmy Uso in the middle of the ring, left him bloodied and battered with Jay tied to the ropes. So we already know how much of a heel Gunther can be. Let's flip it back. Carmelo Hayes. He is a young up-and-comer who could seriously be one of the mainstays over the next few, years in the business, right? Like him, Braun Breaker, Trick Williams. These are the next guys in the company who are these young, hungry, up-and-coming superstars. We got to remember Gunther's 38, guys. He's almost 40. He's not going to be around long past Carmelo Hayes. So again, I have to ask the question, what does Gunther beating John Cena do for Gunther compared to what Carmelo Hayes beating a John Cena? Well, not only beating John Cena, but beating Gunther, then going on to finish the tournament, and then beating John Cena in his final match? I mean, you talk about strapping the rocket ship to a guy like Carmelo Hayes to put him into a different stratosphere when it talks about his trajectory in the future. I think they're maybe planting seeds already, right? With the whole count out angle and Cody interrupting and then Cody going on Twitter and posting a picture of Carmelo Hayes. I'm honestly, personally, just hoping that maybe that's the case and maybe we do get to see a Carmelo Hayes victory over Gunther. I highly doubt it as far as the WWE angle. This is just me personally talking about who should beat John Cena, because we got to remember, guys, John Cena's final match, and unless it was ever going to be against a legend like a Randy Orton, CM Punk, if Edge were to have come back, John Cena would have won his final match. Because he doesn't need to lose to any of those guys. He's not trying to put over those guys. Those guys are already legends. Any young up-and-coming guy or anybody that WWE is trying to push us on is going to beat John Cena in his final match. And John Cena is a guy that I truly believe will honor that time-honored tradition in WWE where it's a passing of the torch moment. Where, a guy like Carmelo Hayes can really be elevated by a scenario like this. So that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. We're coming up really close to the John Cena final match, and it's going to be sad. I may shed a few tears, but it's just a very interesting conversation and topic to have regarding who actually would benefit more, compared to between Gunther and Carmelo Hayes. Ultimately, I still think, as far as if I'm looking at it from WWE's point of view, I think they're gonna go ahead and have Gunther, and they're just gonna run with that storyline. He's retired Goldberg, he's retired John Cena, he's gonna retire Brock Lesnar. I think that's the way they're gonna go. Me personally, I think it would be more important and more impactful if you were to have a guy like Carmelo Hayes, who is still trying to break out. You guys haven't done anything with Carmelo Hayes yet. You really haven't. Ever since you brought him up to the main roster, it's almost like you don't really know what to do with him. He's been in these different tournaments and these tag team matches with The Miz and all this other stuff. But, man, you talk about putting a guy into the main event mix real quick. They have an opportunity to do it. That's the direction I think they should go with. We're going to have to wait and see what happens next week with that match between Gunther and Carmelo Hayes. Now, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you think and who do you want out of these two to beat John Cena's final opponent? If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure you guys smash that like button before you guys leave. As well as please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. It really does help me and support out the channel. I appreciate your support thus far over here. We are a brand new channel, so only up from here, and I do appreciate all your support. So let's keep grinding over here and appreciate it. And that's it again, guys. So let me know who you guys think is going to be John Cena's final opponent, and I'm out. Peace.